access to this.
Hi, I'm Andre Koen, and I've been in this diversity and inclusion space for over 25 years. And I brought my friend with me.
Hi.
I didn't want to announce your name
Oh.
and all that stuff because you can do it yourself.
Yeah,
You're right.
absolutely, absolutely. So I'm Jared Johnston. I own a business called True North Consultants, and I've been doing leadership development work, organizational development work, and now coaching and consulting also for about 25 years.
Yeah.
We're not as young as we used to be.
No, we're not. We're not. And the interesting thing, though, is that we came from an organization and we met, almost 30 years ago. That really kind of sparked our relationships. And so I just want to kind of talk about this training a little bit before we get into it, because there's some things you should know about this training and you should know about us before you invest too much time into this, because there's a particular audience that we're after with this training, right?
Yep. Well, and the audience that we're looking for are those folks in more rural areas. Oftentimes those of us who live in rural areas, and I live in far northern Minnesota in a little town called Ely, we sometimes don't think diversity, equity, and inclusion apply to us, or we don't have the opportunities to really implement those things. And it's important that we have training from and by people who live in greater Minnesota or in rural areas overall, that connects with what we're facing in our workplaces, whether it's for-profit, nonprofit, government agencies.
Yeah. And I live in Rochester, Minnesota, and so we seem to be in polar opposite ends
Exactly.
of the state. And what I'm finding is in my neck of the woods is that folks just don't have the opportunity to have the conversations, and the complexity at which the conversations are being had isn't accessible to folks. And so this training really is designed to be accessible. I don't think we're making it too simplistic, because I think the concepts are pretty radical and can be applied in a number of different ways. But we definitely wanted to make sure that the language was accessible, so that you can walk away with this training having some practices and some tools to carry into your own organizations. So it doesn't do us any good to pontificate and use all these big words if the folks who are participating in this session can't use what we're given.
Yep, I think it's absolutely true.
Yeah. So let's get to it.
All right.